Yeah, classical. This be a classic American lick hit. Yeah. Yo, they got an appetite for destruction. What's the function? Meet me at the crossroads. Dead man's junction. Strange fruit, blow to the breeze. A stench of fresh death. Classic American shit. Check how the skit went. It's 4 shotgun shells and 2 shotties. 3 jugs of moonshine and 2 bodies. 6 white sheep, a noose, and 2 crosses. Some gas and a couple of matches, and you got it. Yeah, they caught them slipping on the streets at night. You know, black boys shitting off the streets at night. They tried to run but got caught with one bumped his head. Now they locked up in old shit and getting fed straight. Pipe the clan types, they like that side of me. 6 in a line, the screen shake the property. C1 died because you know his heart stopped. So they clipped his balls, his nose, and his toes off. 1 down and 1 more. Snatch the noose up. Throw him in the back of the truck, snatch the fool up, cruise up, set up the cross, set the noose up, kick him in the ass some more until he's bruised up. Now hang, yeah. Watch the nigga boy swing. Watch him twitch for breath until his neck bone snap. It's a classic American lick. You can't forget that. Classic, like Mozart and Beethoven. When you see the whites of their eyes, just stay focused and stay open. It's a nice knock that night for a classic American lick.
Let me tell you about Carl, high school basketball star with plans to go far. The next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had all the pride riding his tip. It made his teammates sick. They got jealous and shit. Billy, Bob, and Chris said they tired of this, so they figured they get the rope, string it up, and hang the nigga. Then we'll see who's bigger, flagrant foul giver, malt liquor sipper. Get the picture, the back to Carl, cause he was hype. Friday, the big game night. Only taking a school full of whites. The team won, he had 40 cause his Jimmy was tight. Chris told Carl, your future is bright. Let's celebrate and have a drink. Took a shower and got clean, bounced to the scene. What he found was change and gasoline in about 15. Eating mice that was hating. Carl lost patience, started breaking, but he was too slow for the 4x4 truck. That's when he got stuck in the face, stomped at a rapid pace. Nothing but pain, beating his brain with his chain. All cause the Jake had game. Next word he heard, don't make you the next James Byrd. And that's a sure bet. Chain around the neck, that was all wet, dripping in sweat. Billy Bob went to get Hutch, the owner of the truck, started mashing on the gas. The car's body ripped up. It's drastic. Police claim no suspects, no causes, and no answers. It's 2000, but it's still classic. The bastards got away clean like fantastic. Those highs gonna melt their ass like plastic. In these last days, it's still classic.
Classic, like Mozart and Beethoven. When you see the whites of their eyes, just stay focused and stay open. It's a nice knock that night for a classic American legend. See, time keeps ticking, but y'all keeps forgetting. Now they modernize and digitize the lynching. Stick you in a cell, legitimize the lynching. Instigate your house walls, increase tension. But what about the Yellow? What went down in Jasper? George W. Bastard. He sent 151 to the chair to get fried and plastered. But Christ got a plan, the true Lord and Master. The death of the saints is repaid in hundreds. Christ brings war and retribution for sure, y'all. And not knowing the power that's rolling with us. Big bats and angelic beings as heavy hitters that transform addicts and fiends to steady pillars. 200 million willing and ready killers that strap to the T and do it classically. That classic American hit, drastically classic. Classic, like Mozart and Beethoven. When you see the whites of their eyes, just stay focused and stay open. It's a nice knock that night for a classic American legend.
Ashar at the water, my brother. The water. AR247. The water. Y'all always get my back when I don't have my audio working correctly. All praises. Good thing that the mic was muted because I want to make sure that I'm coming in clear. But if y'all can hear me now, I see how somebody threw a 7 in there at the water. Is anybody else having an issue? If I'm coming in clear, let me check for myself. How about that? I can always do that. Okay. Am I sounding low or am I sounding okay? Let me know. Hopefully I'm coming in all right. Throw a 7 in the chat, please, brother. In the meantime, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, peace, welcome, blessings to all on the Lord's day. This is brother IQAhmath, IQAhmath, first name, IQ, it's all the same. You've reached another episode, DSTM, don't shoot the messenger. How about that? Don't do it. Don't even do it. Why? Because I got something to say. How about that? I got something to say. Y'all can see the name of the title, man. Whether bombings between Israel, Iran, and the U.S., was this just theater or is this a preview of something bigger? Most of y'all should kind of know the answer to this. You know, based upon last weekend, man, it was lit, right? Everybody was, oh, World War III. America just dropped a bomb, even myself included. I was like, oh, wow, what? Right after the Sabbath, as a matter of fact. You know, I did the follow-up class on Sunday, another episode on DSTM, right? Of course, this was big news. And of course, all of us who are prophecy watchers, and we're looking for the end times, we're looking for the deliverance of our people. We're looking for the time that's going to, you know, equate for us to see even closer to the hour of our deliverance. So the information that we was getting and everything that we were seeing, it was in real time. So we reacted in real time. But come Monday, I believe it was Monday, or it might even been Tuesday, but I believe it was Monday. One of the text groups I got with some of the brothers, when Agent Orange popped out and said, "Oh, ceasefire deal's on the table. We already got it lined up. It's over with," right? And I was like, "Damn!" But I made a couple of posts. I put one on Facebook, put one on Instagram, which I rarely do, but that was still something because I promoted everything else. So I was like, "Hey, you know what? I got to be fair and balanced. There's a ceasefire on deck." But one thing I did say was a ceasefire is not a peace deal. We've seen ceasefires happen in Ukraine and Russia. We've seen ceasefires happen between Israel and Gaza. We've seen these things before, right? What is it? A timeout. Timeout. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we did too much. Maybe I'm running out of ammo. Maybe I need to regroup. Maybe I need to assess the damages. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you know, they want to open up more doors for negotiations and more talks. So a ceasefire isn't necessarily a quote unquote peace deal, right? So I made sure that I put that in there. And then right after that, boom. Oh, both parties have broken the peace treaty agreement, I mean, the ceasefire agreement. Trump was on there dropping the F bombs. You know, neither one of them know what the F they're doing. Y'all all heard them sound bites, right? You know, people were making content and going viral just off of that alone. But that made me say, let me fall back and just watch, get back to the script of how the Lord was telling me every 7 days, man. Don't jump the gun. Don't constantly jump out there, you know, because there was a lot of headlines. A lot of everybody was like, World War III has started. And I'm like, well, technically it's already kind of started already, you know, by proxy. It's already began, you know. Just the major players in the game haven't initiated major acts of war outside of what the U.S. did with Iran. But even in looking at that, I was kind of like, and I told brothers, I said, man, I'm not as amped up about this as I initially was. Because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, there's a lot of theater that was jumping off, and there was a lot of things that was making me say, you know, one thing when the bombs jump off, right? You look for the reaction of the economic markets, man. And the markets, everything pretty much ignored it. They was acting like that was nothing just happened. Stock market's going up. Everything's like, you know, happy days are here again. And I'm saying, any other time of war, man, it's not going down like that. Then you start hearing about the reports. They didn't really, you know, the depleted uranium, I mean, not the depleted, but the uranium deposits, they already got moved out. Heads up was given beforehand by Iran. You know, we're getting ready to go hit you. make sure you guys clear out. We're gonna, send back 6 retaliatory missiles, that you should be able to strike them down, and we're gonna aim them at targets that nobody's there. It's as a UZL and myself, we were discussing even during Trump's campaign and highlighting um, his training coming up under the wings of Vince McMahon and the WWF, or the WWE as it's known as now. And you see what he does. He does a whole lot of trolling. He talks a lot, big stuff on the microphone. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, everything is not as what it seems. So I was looking at all of that stuff, and I was just like, this looks like this was kind of like a theater show. Was Israel really getting hit? Yes. Iran, was they really getting hit? Yes. When the U.S. came in, stepped in, it was kind of like, let me step in, make myself known. Let's set some things on the table. Let's get a reset so that, we can kind of figure some things out moving on down the line. Because what it actually did was it gave time for, which we're going to look at, Russia is making multiple missiles a day. They've increased their missile production. Pakistan also is doing the same thing. They're increasing their nuke production. China's aligning themselves up. You see, Israel is getting back to restocking. Trump lined up the meeting with NATO to get their defense spending up. So, there was a lot of things that was going on behind closed doors that this afforded the opportunity for a pause so that all these other spirits can get to work, right? So, and one other thing too. Let's look at this first. Make sure I'm sharing my screen. I don't want to not do that. If you're doing well in the Shabbat, man, and you're doing all right, you and your households, man, make sure that you wipe your feet, man. If you have not already, please do so. Please do so. Show your brother some love, and it'd be greatly appreciated. How about that? All right. Let's go to Proverbs 11. And we'll read verse 18. It says, the wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. So the second half is pretty clear and plain. Him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. So the Most High acknowledges for us, if we continually sow righteousness, abiding by the law, statutes, and commandments, doing good works between one another, building each other up, being examples to the flock. The Lord said rewards come from that, right? But then he also said the wicked worketh a deceitful work. So we have to look and kind of see what's going on this world stage. There's a lot of deceit that was going on here. AI is at an all-time high. That form of the beast system is unprecedented right now. You can make anything out of AI right now. They've got whole movies, commercials, fake newscasts, fake memes of the president eating Cheetos and dyeing his hair with Cheeto powder. It's all kind of folly going on. And you would swear it's real. Me and one of the sisters, she sent me a video, and she thought the AI video was real. How somebody don't mean to put you on the spot. I said your name. I was just playing, sis. But anyway, sis sent me a video, and there was some old ladies gangbanging. She talking about, yeah, I'm from PJ Watch, and another one talking about she was bounty hunters and all kind of. And she was like, look at these old grannies are still out here gangbanging. I was like, that's AI, But it's so intricate and so detailed the way they do it. You would think, like, if you ain't got a keenful eye, you would think, like, what the hell is going on the earth? That's a whole nother thing, man, where the strong delusions that the scriptures speak of in 2 Thessalonians, strong delusions is going to be set before us, right? And we're seeing it play out right now, just on the war front. The wicked are working a deceitful work. So when they're going over here saying, and you see what happened after the fact, the reports come back. America didn't really hit nothing. The uranium was already gone. The bombs didn't really do too much. Trump come out there and say it was a spectacular success. You know, we destroyed their whole nuclear power plants have been obliterated. You know, they have no chance of doing anything. I mean, then reports come out and say, oh, you know what little bit damage they did do, set them back maybe about a month or two. What do you believe in these times? They're running there. It's like, who can run to the press? Who can run to the branch of the Mockingbird media? As much as, you know, Agent Orange loves to talk about fake news, he loves to utilize it and use the same tactics of fake news. He uses fake news just as much as he talks about it. That's why they say the wicked worketh a deceitful work, because what we saw when America jumped in and this back and forth, this was already pre-scheduled bombings. That, you know, people is all out the way, make sure that nothing's over there. Okay, boom, but we're going to blow it up and make it seem like this was really it. And it really wasn't. It's a smoke screen in order for the bigger stage to be set. We're going to see about that in a minute. Let's look at another scripture. Smoke screen, man, the devil is at work, boy. He is at work. That is a fact. Let's look at this. Proverbs 31:30. Now, yes, this is for the sisters out there, right? But at the same time, look at it from a perspective in the spirit. Who, outside of Israel being known as a delicate woman, according to Jeremiah 6:2, who's the other woman? There's another deceitful, wicked woman out there. Y'all should already be clicking and saying, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. The mother of harlots, Revelation 17. Right? Now it says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. Well, what does America pride itself on? Let's look at that real quick. Now, this is for the sisters. Now, favor also can be looked at as charm. This says, oops, lucky. I thought I was opening up another tab. Let's go back over on this side. Verse 31. Okay, so favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. So it says favor is deceitful. So favor, like I said, also can be looked at as charm when it's translated. So the charm that can come from a woman, it says, can be deceitful. All the glitters ain't gold, right? Look at this woman over here. 17 and verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and decked with the gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication, right? So what we're seeing here is the favor that's deceitful and the vain beauty that this harlot is expressing towards all of those that she wishes to entrap. They can be deceitful. So even the charm and the favor that it's looking like Agent Orange has right now, he's riding over there to NATO. He didn't go to the meeting. He's popping up at the hotel telling everybody, you know, come to me first. They're calling him daddy. Supreme Court judges now were flipping the script, and now they're giving him everything that he wants. He's dropping bombs. He's making press conferences. He's talking crazy. I mean, right now, he's got the keys to the world, which he's always had, but it's even more favorable now. But the Lord said this is all deceitful, and it's all vain, because if you leave it to him, you know, you leave it to America, they can do no wrong. Right now, there's no stopping this choo-choo train, man. But the Lord's going to derail them tracks. It's going to fly out the hinges. That's a fact. But you know what? Part of it, we got ourselves to blame, right? Part of it, we got ourselves to blame. I know we was hyped up, never thinking it was in. I've always taught and told y'all, this is the beginnings. That's what Yahushua said. Not the end, but the beginnings. When you hear about wars, rumors of wars, and all of that doesn't indicate it's a wrap. Get ready. You know, look to get beamed up. Matthew 24:8 says, all these are the beginning of sorrow. What's included in that? Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Let's keep that in perspective, y'all. Keep that in perspective. You know, the things that we're seeing, we're witnessing, this is just scraping the surface. This is when we're just getting into the times that the apostles called the end of the world. Excuse me, the disciples called the end of the world, and the signs of Yahweh's second coming. So we're looking at the beginnings of these things. You know, the door is just now, we're putting the key in the door, twisting the lock, but it's a, you know, it's a dead bolt and all kind of things going on. We got just a few more locks that got to get opened up before we can, you know, sing hallelujah, praise his name, and, you know, look towards being redeemed and taken from, you know, this land and throughout the four corners of the earth, right? Brother said, obliterate also means cause to be forgotten or blot out remembrance. What that means. There you go, Oscar Rabiala. Very good point. I'm gonna post that up there so everybody can see that, because that's a good point. That's what he's intending. That's what he thought he was doing. But that gave him, like you said, the controlling of the narrative. Because now it's believed Iran has nothing, you know, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening when the revealing of the truth that America didn't do nothing with that whole bombing. Okay, so all these are the beginning of sorrow. Let's jump over to Psalms 107. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Let the redeemed of Yahweh say so, whom he hath redeemed from the hand of the enemy, and gathered them out of the lands from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south. They wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in. So this is how we've been living as vagabonds, pilgrims in the earth, like Hebrews 11 tells us. Micah 2:10 tells us that to depart. This is not our rest. This isn't our land. You know, Isaiah 14 says, the Most High, through Yahweh, is going to deliver us and return us back to our lands. We're servants and handmaids, right? So right now, we don't have a city to dwell in. We're biding our time here as pilgrims in the earth. Let's get that in Hebrews real quick in the spirit. That's in missed it. There we go. Verse 13. It says, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off and were persuaded of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. So these are all the great men and women of faith that followed after the Most High through faith and received and plan to receive their rewards to the heavenly kingdom, right? Now, through regeneration. Now, also, it lets it be known that this was the legacy of the children of Israel ever since we got removed from our land, that we were pilgrims on earth. So when we go back to Psalms 107, it says they wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in. So not only was that in wilderness of Sinai, but this has been our legacy since our cursings of Deuteronomy 28:15-68. We're not back in our homeland. We haven't found the holy city of Jerusalem to dwell back in, right? Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them. Yeah, so what? We're lacking the knowledge. We're lacking the understanding. These are all principles that we're supposed to be striving for. Remember, that's why we pray and say, give us this day our daily bread, because we're looking to be fed with knowledge and understanding again. Let's look at Sirach 15:3. It says, with the bread of understanding shall she feed him and give him the water of wisdom to drink, right? This is how we're supposed to be getting fed. Right now, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We're out there hungry and starving, destroying ourselves, living in ignorance and being satisfied with it. It says their soul fainted. You know, our people have completely lost faith. They have no investment in the holy word of the Most High right now. All they want is immediate satisfaction. It's got to be money, getting high, physical pleasures, whatever the case may be. We want immediate satisfaction. We don't have no investment in the faithful, long-term investment in the Most High anymore. So because of that, the Most High said, now we're out here hungry and thirsty. Verse 6, then they cried unto Yahweh in their trouble. See, this is where we got to collectively do this in order for our deliverance. And this also lets it be known too. When you look at it in the spirit, man, how far do we have to go as a community base known as the Israelite nation, the 12 tribes scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man, collectively. It says, then they cried unto Yahweh in their trouble, meaning everybody's got to do this. We're not crying loud enough. We're not collectively being heard on one accord. Yeah, we've got doctrinal issues that, that we're straightening up. Personal issues going on, emotional issues with each other. All of them things is the things that are holding us back. But if you look at the legacy of our people all the time, not gonna say all the time, but many a time, especially during the time of the Roman siege, during Babylon, I mean, there was plenty of times that our people were divided, jacked up. And we see that that's a tactic that our enemy uses all the time, man. Divide and conquer. Does he not? That's always the case. So as long as that remains, the Lord's got to hear us on one accord and say, okay, yeah, I hear it. I hear the cry. I hear them all together now. I hear the plea. Some of our people don't even want to get up. Some people don't want this gravy train known as America to ever cease. Some people don't ever, they don't want to see the kingdom of heaven. They don't want to end to the wickedness and evils that's going on. They love being oppressed. As much as they saying, hey, how about some right, when it's all said and done, they're like, I'm enjoying myself here. I don't want nothing to end. I don't want nothing I'm ready to immerse myself even more. I want to prop up Babylon. I'm investing in Babylon. I'm doing everything I can to keep this thing going. That's the problem too. Is that some of us ain't really trying to catch the end. And I get it. Even Amos says, woe to you that desire the day of the Lord, for what end is it can be for you? I understand. But at the end all be all, for the betterment and the relief and the promises, hey man, we all might have to take that gamble and say, you know what? If I don't make it, man, maybe my sons will make it, my wife will make it, maybe my family will make it, maybe my brothers and sisters in my congregation will make it. If I don't make it, I'm make it. But I want to see some justice. I want to see some things ended. I want some relief. I want to see the revenge and the justice that's due to our people. I want to see that kingdom of heaven that's promised to us. I want to see the wicked dethroned and get up out of here, man. And that's what we got to do. Because then what? Then they cried unto Yahweh in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distresses. So the Most High said, once I hear you loud enough, then I'll deliver you out of your distresses. So this is also a marking to say, hey, we got some work to do. Because as much as we can jump online and World War III, what? Most High, yeah, I'm giving you a little teaser. The wicked is out here playing games and deceitful works, but you ain't ready yet. Get back to work. Isaiah 41, 17 and 18. When the poor and the needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue filleth for thirst, I, the Most High Yahweh, will hear them. I, the power of Israel, will not forsake them. Do you see that? The Most High said, when the poor and the needy are seeking water, and there isn't any, and the tongue is looking for thirst, Yahweh, he's going to hear us. So he's not so deaf where, where he's completely cut us off, through our mediation through Yahweh Shai. Remember, Yahweh Shai is a mediator. All things go through him. He's the door. You communicate that way. The Lord said, I hear you in them circumstances. He'll never leave us out there to be destitute and rotten and dried up and all of that. He said, when we need it, we're ready and we're crying, he won't forsake us. That's a fact. He said he's not a man that he should lie. Verse 18, I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. That's the power of the Most High. Where it doesn't seem like there's a way, doesn't seem like, we're going to be delivered in the worst worst of situations, where it doesn't look like there's no hope, no way that he's going to be able to make something happen for us. He can do it. Remember, he said he's going to work a work in our days that we won't believe, even though it's been told to us. He said that we won't believe. That lets you know that faithfully we sit back and say, I believe. But the Most High said, even though you understand prophecy, even though you understand what's going on, you still won't believe how this whole thing is going to play out in the end. Imagine that. Imagine that, right? Let's jump over here to Hosea. 5:15. It says, I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. That's what the Most High is waiting for. He's waiting for the elect. He's waiting for the remnant to acknowledge our offense. And doing what? We have to repent in doing so. Remember Jeremiah 3? He said, acknowledge your iniquities. And let's look at verse 13. Actually, we'll read 12 down to 14. Jeremiah 3:12 says, go and proclaim these words toward the north and say, return, thou backsliding Israel, saith Yahweh, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, saith Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever. The Most High said, man, he'll be angry, but he said it won't be forever. There is a rest. The Most High said in Isaiah 40 that now is the time to speak comfortably to our people. He said, because we've received double for our iniquities. Now he said, now the warfare is accomplished. So now is the time that the Most High is open for mercy. He's open for redemption. The grace is there. Not to abuse and run out there and act a fool. No, the grace is there to get it right. Opportune times to learn about repentance. Come back, learn about the law, statutes, and commandments. Learn about understanding how we're supposed to serve our Lord and power. Morally, civilly, dietarily, ceremonially, civilly. These are all aspects of faith in the law that we have to do. Faith in Christ and keeping of the law. Now he said he's not going to cause an anger to fall upon us, but in these places toward the north, here we are primarily in North America, South America, Central America, Canada, Caribbean islands, no doubt scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. However, vast majority of us, through the cursings, have been transplanted over here, right? It says, only acknowledge thine iniquity that thou hast transgressed against Yahweh thy power and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith Yahweh. Very simple. So all you got to do is admit you was wrong. Admit you was wrong. Admit you didn't understand. Admit you was following the ignorance. Admit you was rebellious. Admit that you loved wickedness and you learned after the ways of the nations, and you're learning how to disassociate yourself and cut off those branches from that green tree from the strangers. And you want to become a new creature rooted in Yahweh. That's what we're supposed to acknowledge. The Lord said, all you got to do is acknowledge your iniquities that thou hast transgressed against Yahweh thy power. The Christians are never going to be able to do this because they say the laws are done away with. How can you confess about a transgression if you believe that there's no penalty, that there's no laws for you to transgress against? They're all screwed up and finished. They can talk about, I repented, I got baptized. I was talking to my sister a week ago, and she talking about, she got baptized 3 times. I'm like, you never was baptized. That's why. You had a ceremonial dunking that meant nothing, and you never learned about the laws and the commandments. to the point now that you're completely turned off from the Bible and the church. I'm trying to knock upside the head and get some things clicking in her mind, but at the same time, you got to see that they can't understand this is the Lord's requirement. He said all you got to do is acknowledge your iniquity. Now, 1 John 3 and 4 says sin is a transgression of the law. That's in the New Testament. Christians love talking about sin, sin, sin. He loves the sinner, hates the sin, and all that other stuff, right? But if you don't even acknowledge the transgression, if you're saying that the law is done away with, how can you transgress? Oh, you plead the blood of Jesus. You're under grace and mercy. And, Christ said you just keep these 2 great commandments, and no man can keep all the commandments. We can't be perfect. All this other stuff. Love excuses. Love not even trying. That's where the faith comes into play. Is you trying to faithfully, through your belief in Christ, keep the commandments. The Lord said, step 1, acknowledge our iniquities. And what do we have to do? Acknowledge that we transgress, meaning we broke the laws and we sinned. Verse 14, turn, then we have to repent. Then we have to turn away from those ways and return back to the Most High. Oh, backsliding children, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you. That's our relationship. That's the unwavering, undying love that the Most High has for his people. He's married unto us, and I will take you, 1 of a city, 2 of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Look at the odds of those who are going to do it. Those who are going to commit. That's why Christ even said, wide is the gate that lead to destruction, narrow is the way that lead to life, and few there be that find it. He said, I'll take 1 out of a city, 2 of a family, and I'll bring you to Zion. So it could be that close in it where you got family members. Some of y'all got family members, that's in the truth, and y'all can fellowship together, or some of you don't. I've been in camps where 2 brothers are in the truth, but in different camps and warring with each other because the camps had issues. Well, our camp didn't really have no issues. The other camp, they did. But nonetheless, that's what it is. But that's how the Most High says, 1 of a city, 2 of a family. And that's how the Lord wants us to return back to him. But until then, look, back to Hosea 5:15, it says, I will go and return to my place. So the Most High's work is done. He said, I'm going to turn my back on him. Even in, I believe it's in Deuteronomy 32, I believe, where he says that cause us to be jealous with the foolish nation. 32. And look at 21. This is why the Most High said, go through my son now. That you can't get to the boss. That you've seen them, what do you call it? Mafia movies, The Godfather and all that, man. Yeah, everybody couldn't get to Don Corleone. You had to go through Sonny. You had to go through, eventually Michael got raised up. You couldn't get directly to the boss. You had to go to the underboss. You had to go to the captain. You had to go to somebody. You couldn't get to the boss. You had to request a meeting and hope that it was granted. That's how the Most High is moving. The Most High is like, look, I got nothing to say to them right now. They want to talk to me. Go through my son. Deuteronomy 32:20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children of whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not a power. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. What's interesting about that? It said, though we're going to be moved to jealousy with those that are not a people. If you look in the Oxford Encyclopedia, and I've showed this before, I forgot what year it was. It's in 1990 something, the date. If I had it, I'm sure I got it in one of my files, but I just ain't got time to find it. But if you look up Caucasian Caucasoid, you're going to see it says a subhuman species. Subhuman, meaning below human. Think I'm lying? I'll send you the information. That's in their own encyclopedia dictionary, Oxford. I'm sure I got it, man. I wish I'm trying to think. Any of y'all know I've showed him before. Hold on. I can see I got my stuff organized, right? Somewhat. Let me see. Well, I got it on here. I don't think I got it. It's all right. But if any event, I've shown it a bunch of times in times past. But when it says those are not the people, man, the so-called white man, by his own admission, is a subspecies of human, right? A cave dweller by antiquity. And now our people are envious and love and got Stockholm syndrome and the whole nine with it. Jealousy. But then what's another people and provoking us to them in anger with a foolish nation? I mean, what other nation is tying rubber bands around their ankles and jumping off the highest building just for thrills and just for fun? Who's the ones digging down in ant holes and studying the insects and doing it? I mean, this is all foolishness. Sliding on water, jet skiing. I mean, a lot of the things we know that he does is foolishness, right? Eating raw meat. You're like, only a fool would do something like that. You see these Karens out here losing their mind, acting a fool. And this is where the Lord said, you know what? Because our nation is forward, unmindful, vain, so forth and so on, the Lord said, hey, I got to turn my back on them, man. I'm turning my face on them. I'll see what the end's going to be. But until then, we got to do this. Back to Hosea 5:15. Let's get back to this. It says, I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense. So we have to acknowledge our iniquities. We got to repent and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. So, as usual, anytime we get afflicted, anytime something's going left, that's when we run into the Most High. Well, we got to do that without provocation. You got to do that on the daily. Starting with your prayers, your supplications, your actions and deeds, move forward after that. But it says in their affliction, they will seek me early. So the Lord said, man, once the affliction hits, then our people's going to really want to start getting it in gear. Don't wait for Jacob's troubles to really be at its height. Don't wait, because you never know. You might still get left behind. Most of be like, man, you procrastinated, you waited. Second is, Sirach 5 says that don't put off from day to day and turn it to the Lord. Let's read one more in 2nd Ezra 23. And, if you haven't read this, go and do your readings on 2nd Ezra, man. Ezra was looking for more understanding. He was going to Angel Uriel to receive understanding. Anytime he had questions, Uriel was like, man, you know what? You ain't ready. You're not ready. Your mind's gone too far in the world. You need to fast. He would fast 7 days, come back and get answers, get more information, get more prophecy, get more revelation. Then he'd go back, ask for more. Uriel send him back, go fast again. But here's one of the things that was given unto him for him to understand. 2nd Ezra 4:22, it says, then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily. So Ezra was like, look, it wasn't really on my mind to be trying to get the deepest of breakdowns and the deepest of prophecies and the dark sayings and everything else. He was like, I just want to understand what's going on the daily. I just want to understand the plain things. That's what we need to be seeking for, right? Because even Yahweh said, how do we seek to understand the things of the spirit and we can't even master the earthly things? Paraphrasing. Israel, man, we've got an obsession with knowledge and understanding, and it's all great. We need those principles, right? But the Lord said he chose the simple things that confound the wise. The milk is what we need to make sure that we're digesting, getting that first, then the meat. You know, now that we got the internet and the information highway and, you know, the crystal ball you can wipe on and ask it whatever you want, you know, especially now you got Gemini, you got AI, you got Siri, you got Alexa, you got all these damn AI drones and bots scouring the internet to tell you everything and anything you want. You can make up anything. I mean, we truly are in the matrix right now. You don't know what's real and what isn't. This is really a matrix. And I've been saying that since the movie came out. Hence the song that I did called Red Pill back in 2006, 2007, I believe, around 2006, 07, that I've been talking about the matrix. Not just me, you know, I'm not acting like I'm just some old prophetic guru, but I know I was pushing that concept for a long time, and, you know, brothers and sisters understood it. But now you see it even more manifest right now. That's why Ezra said, man, I want the base thing, man. Listen, I wasn't asking about these high things, but of such as pass by us daily. So what's that mean? Oh, the current events. I want to know what's going on right now. Let me figure this thing out, because that's going to help me understand what's going to happen in the future. Right? So it says, pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations. So he said, I'm trying to understand my people. I'm trying to see our plight. I'm trying to figure out and understand, you know, how can we get about these conditions? It says, and why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect. So this is the things that we, you know, should have been drawing from and seeing, that even the great prophet Ezra, these are the things that was on his mind. He said, man, I'm trying to understand why the law of our forefathers is being told is done away with, and nobody's following it right now, and the covenants ain't coming to effect. He says, and we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name, whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. So he said, the more that you find yourself in that spirit, in that zone, asking these particular questions, that's where your understanding is going to grow. That's when you're going to get more understanding. That's where the Lord's going to impart to you wisdom of understanding. That's the blueprint we follow. That's the blueprint I'm trying to follow. That's where the prophecy is going to come. That's where the revelation is going to come. That's when the understanding comes. That's when the rabbit hole digging and getting answers and, you know, sharing that with brothers and sisters. The more thou searches, the more thou shalt marvel. And a lot of times I'll be like, wow, a lot of stuff, man, I don't even put out, because I still be trying to digest some of this stuff. Right? I had a lot of stuff I'd be sitting back and I'm just like, not yet. Not yet. It says, for the world hasteth fast to pass away and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. So the world's not going to give you no understanding about what's going to happen and the promised things of the righteous to come. You got people out there saying all their little their prognosis is about, oh, what's happening with the war, what's happening. They have no clue. All the talking heads on the media, all the TikTokers, all the you know, the alternative media, you know, independent journalists, everybody run out there saying, you know, yeah, well, from what I'm understanding, what I see was going on, yeah, this is no. If you ain't coming from this word, you don't comprehend the things that are promised and how this is all surrounding the righteous in the time to come, because nobody is making it full circle to say, well, this is all about the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans scattered throughout the four corners of the earth who disobeyed their God. The time of their redemption is drawing nigh as they're repenting and coming back together under the banner of their true identity. The chariot sightings, everything else is only an indication that they're coming back to redeem and get their people. No, they're not going to draw those conclusions. They're staying in the geopolitical, worldly realms of whatever they think, is going on. But the Lord said they don't comprehend the promises that and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. So we know the spirit and the seed of evil is sown in the world. There's no denying it. Everybody can see what's going on in front of our faces, man, from the height and the rise of the LGBTQ plus HIV community, the promotion of all manners of wickedness and evil, the the dietary laws that's not being kept. We can see that the holy days of the Most High is not being honored. Our people is getting ready to go buy hot dogs and hamburgers and running to the nearest, running down to TJ to go buy fireworks and buying them from every little bootleg booth on the corners right now. I remember back in the days, man, we had church. We was running down on churches selling fireworks. And asking them, like, where is that at in the Bible? Who told you that you can do this? Why are you promoting this to our people? And they just sit there looking like goofballs. It's like, what is wrong with you? The Lord said, evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. So, long story short, everything is on track, y'all. Don't get discouraged. Don't worry about it. Everything is happening for the greater and the bigger picture. Right? Evil is already sown, but the destruction isn't yet come. Verse 29, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, we have to make a shift. Remember, the scriptures say that the apostles were called the men that turned the world upside down. That's the legacy that we have to come from. Let me get that in Corinthians. Acts 17:6. It says, and when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city. These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. Who are they talking about? They're talking about the apostles. Okay? I'm talking about Paul. The report was that Paul was causing a ruckus, turning the world upside down, making evil turn to good. The Gentiles of our people, they were being brought back under the banner of righteousness, being grafted back in under Yahushua. It was like, this ain't right. What are they doing? This is when you get that shock and awe, when brothers is out there on the highways and the byways, speaker, no speaker, crying aloud, accepting in any and all challenges when it comes down to our beliefs, going viral for, every manner of defending the gospel, dealing with all kind of slander and all kind of lies, being canceled, being targeted, being lied upon, the whole nine. Why? Because the Lord said that's what you come from. That's what you need to do, is turn the world upside down. We've got to make changes in this place. Otherwise, we're not going to get to this destruction and the end coming. It says, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, well, evil has been sown. We've got to get that evil rooted up out of here so that it can be replaced and planted with righteousness and good. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, well, where is the evil sown from? Where is it? Who's emanating most of this evil? America. This is the greatest proponent of all manners of evil and wickedness throughout the earth. This is the place that has influence upon all nations upon the earth. Notice, they just go to call, and they were calling him daddy. White Zaddy. Trump. The Bible calls him the mother of harlots. America. It said this place has to pass away. That's why Revelation 18 says it's got to go. Revelation 19 says it's got to be a smoking forever and ever. And ever, until this place is gone and judged, like it's not that's going to let you know when the destruction and the end is going to happen. It says, then cannot it come that is sown with good. So this is where we're on, y'all. All right. This is what we are. Let's get to it now. Let's get to some current events. I know y'all been waiting, but you got to deal with them scriptures first. All right. Now, just as we were talking about, seeing these evil, seeing these deceitful worksmen, these were the media headlines shortly after these bombings. Satellite images throw Trump's claims over success of Iran's strikes into doubt. So this is when the truth starts coming up because he's got opposition. Everybody's not riding, with him. He still has a so-called left opposition who's coming up against him. You've got legacy media that still wants to damage everything he says. So some of them gonna pop out and say some real stuff and exposing. Satellite images throw Trump's claims of a success of Iran strikes into doubt. So a lot of us have been hearing about that. Actually, like I said it on Sunday, the uranium was it Saturday, I believe? They said the uranium had already been moved up out of there. The quote unquote bunker busting bombs wasn't even, powerful enough to get down into the depths of where the nuclear base and labs was. Right? But they're showing these satellite images again. Can we really trust what we're seeing? Edgar Allan Poe, I said it earlier to brothers, man. He said, believe half of what you hear and none of what you see. And I don't even know if you can believe half of what you hear now. I mean, nowadays it's like, what can you trust? They're covering their tracks with all kind of folly and wicked and evil devices through Satan. Right. So first time out is he jumps right on the screen, and everybody was waiting for his word. The president's going to have a press conference after the bombings. We sat there and waited, man. The dude said about 2 minutes worth of BS. Spectacular strikes, everything destroyed. They've been obliterated, blah, blah, blah. I want to thank all the wicked and the evil nation of Iran and that has been decapitated and that. And then he just said the other day, I love Iran. I wish the best for them. I want prosperity. You just called them everything but a child of God on Saturday. 2 days later, you love them. I mean, it's WWF. Let's move on. Officials concede they don't know the fate of Iran's uranium stockpile, so they don't know what happened. They don't. The one thing they do know is that uranium wasn't there. We're going to work in the coming weeks to ensure that we do something with that fuel, and that's one of the things that we're going to have conversations with Iranians about. Vice President J.D. Vance told ABC this week on Sunday, referring to a batch of uranium sufficient to make 9 or 10 atomic weapons. And if you notice, from Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, and Donald Trump, all of them been turned up on their interviews. You ain't heard Pete Hegseth say nothing. Where was all that energy that you had when you messages on Signal got out? Where was all this? We killed him. He was turned up. I don't know if y'all seen that. He had an interview. He went ballistic on a reporter saying something. JD Vance, he going on this month talking great. They're all in character mode right now. You'll never hear them. They all super turned up talking about this bomb. Meanwhile, everybody's like, you didn't really do nothing. You didn't. Yes, we did. We obliterated. Hold on. This guy Hegseth. Look at this. Pete Hegseth lashes out a reporter for questions about Trump's Iran bombing.
Highly successful strikes in Iran. Let me read the bottom line here. President Trump directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history.
Yep. Secretive. Hold on. Iran says nuclear sites evacuated before U.S. strikes. Hundreds of Americans evacuated Iran before U.S. strikes. Hello? Secret. U.S. signals end up. This is the one I really wanted, though. Hundreds of Americans, and Fox News, his favorite, hundreds of Americans evacuated Iran before U.S. strikes. It's secretive, huh? See, this is how you catch the devil man wagging that forked tongue, lying in real time. See, this is what I'm saying. They already planned it. They knew. They said, man, get up out of there. We're getting ready to, drop some things down there. It's going to cause a little ruckus. But it's not going to be too bad. So lie number one, secretive in history. I mean, they get to pumping up some stuff, man. Wow. Let me go.
And it was a resounding success, resulting in a ceasefire agreement and the end of the 12-day war. There's been a lot of discussion about what happened and what didn't happen.
You see how they even dictated the new. Remember they had the 6-day war back between Egypt and I believe Israel and Egypt. Now they can just make a new historical headway under his regime. I stopped the 12-day war. Who said it was 12 days? It's the ceasefire. It's not a peace deal been signed. Moving on.
Step back for a second. Because of decisive military action, President Trump created the conditions to end the war, decimating, choose your word, obliterating, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Yeah, decimating, obliterating, all these adjectives. But meanwhile, they don't know what's going on. Khamenei says Trump exaggerated impact of U.S. strikes on nuclear sites. I believe so too. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Thursday said U.S. President Donald Trump exaggerated the impact of U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites in his first appearance since a ceasefire in the war with Israel took hold. I believe that this thing's going to start back up again. It's just going to take a little something. It's just a ceasefire. We've heard those terms before. Russia and Ukraine had ceasefires. Like I said, Israel, Gaza, they had multiple ceasefires. There's been ceasefires all throughout wartime politics. And usually they end up fading and going right back at it again. So even Ayatollah saying, hey, he's pumping some stuff up. He's trolling. We know what's going on over here. We know exactly how much damage was done and what wasn't. That's why the retaliatory strike was nothing on their part. They launched six missiles. I think they said 4 got shot down, 2 got through. Didn't really do no damage. It was a light strike. They even told I'll show it in a minute. But it was like a light to get back. Let's continue. Look, Iran launches retaliatory attacks on U.S. forces in Qatar. Look, Iran had coordinated attacks with Qatar to minimize casualties. Hello? This is theater. Coordinated. Let's see. Maybe I got to go back to English class. What is coordinate? Coordinate. I remember there was a joke. The brother that passed away, John Witherspoon, from the father from Friday. He used to have a joke where he used to talk about coordinating his outfits and everything else. He used to say, "Yeah, I got to coordinate." For my old school folks, I remember Def Comedy Jam and all that. You know what I'm talking about. Look at this. Coordinate to make many different things work effectively as a whole. To match or look attractive together. Look attractive together, huh? Okay. Let's see if we got anything else. See, they want to talk about clothes, but it said to match two things. Coordinate of the same order degree, equal in the rank of importance, involving the proper relationship or harmonious interaction among functions and parts. Oh, proper relationship or harmonious interaction among functions. Okay. So it's two people working together, two forms of whatever, clothing, a relationship to work harmoniously and interact harmoniously. And what do we see here? Iran had coordinated attacks with Qatar. Oh, so as much as they were making it sound like, oh, Qatar, the U.S. bases in Qatar under attack, they were coordinated with Iran. This was simple. We got a safe face. Heads up. I'm going to throw a little something your way. We'll coordinate so that it don't do nothing. But for the media, we'll let it be known. We're striking back. Look, retaliatory strikes. But it was coordinated. Yeah, UZL. Damn WWE. I mean, you think Hulk Hogan and who else? Andre the Giant didn't coordinate that winning body slam in the end? You think Stone Cold Steve Austin and the rest of the Rock didn't coordinate their whole, did some choreography in the ring before to determine the winner? I mean, this is what's going on. Huh? Iran coordinated the attacks on the American base in Qatar with Qatari officials and gave advance notice. Hello? Advance notice that attacks were coming to minimize casualties. The New York Times reported. So the question again, was it all theater? Iran says it is committed to maintaining warm ties with Qatar despite the attack. Yeah, they're going to work together. They have one thing in common: Islam. In a statement on Monday, Iran gave Qatar an assurance that the U.S. base attack by Iranian missiles was far away from residential areas and that it did not cause any danger to the, quote, brotherly and friendly country of Qatar and its people. Iran is committed to maintaining its warm ties with Qatar, Iran's Supreme National Security Council said in a statement. I mean, there you go. So they wasn't even really trying to get back at America. America didn't really do nothing to them. This provided the opportunity for America to jump in, get this ceasefire in order so that Trump can get over there to NATO, line up some more things. And as they went over there, meet up with NATO, Russia said, uh-oh, they're making me target an enemy number one, get the missiles manufacturing going, rapido. Watch. U.S. scrambles are determined to impact a strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. I mean, look, even Trump was saying he was going to prosecute anybody that was speaking against the strikes. Oh, where is it at? I gotta figure out. There was a particular. Where's the Trump? There was a particular headline that said Trump saying, "Yeah, look at it." Well, I guess AI pulled this from Variety and The Independent. President Trump has threatened legal action against media outlets like CNN and the New York Times for their reporting on the U.S. bombing of Iran, claiming it undermines his credibility. So if you don't go along with the program, man, if you don't go along with the trolling and everything else, he said, I'm going to sue you. Bow down, roll with the narrative, or else. He's demanded retractions and apologies, asserting that the strikes were a significant success, contrary to reports suggesting limited impact on Iran's nuclear program. Look how far he's willing to go. If you don't agree, legal action is coming your way. So much for freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Let's move on. Trump threatens to unleash most lethal weapons ever built if Iran is supplied nukes. So you heard in our reported last weekend, multiple nations, including Pakistan in particular, China said they got their back. Russia said they got their back. Matter of fact, the Russian Medvedev, I forgot what his position is, prime minister or something like that. He said, hey, I got multiple nations ready to give them nukes. So this is Trump's response. Hey, if anybody's thinking about giving them nukes, the most lethal weapons ever built will be on deck. He's even weaponized this term N-word. Now you can't even say that. This is ridiculous. You know, that used to be sacred, man. You had to say, man, you can't say the N-word. You know, I'm talking about nigga. You can. Now you can't. That's erased from history now. Now the N-word means nuclear. Look at this, man. President Donald Trump has threatened to unleash the, quote, most powerful and lethal weapons ever built if Russia supplies nuclear warheads to Iran. Trump, 2 days after the U.S. carried out strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, aired a statement from Russia and a warning to the country. Did I hear former President Medvedev from Russia casually throwing around the N-word, nuclear, and saying that he and other countries will supply nuclear warheads to Iran, wrote Trump on his Truth Social platform on Monday morning. Look what he does. He runs to the internet. He's operating just like one of these little YNs from LA, Chicago, New York, whatever, trolling on the internet, throwing out threats to his enemies or their enemies on the internet. You know, you troll on the internet. Oh, you throwing on the N-word? Oh, okay. Did I hear you say that? Let me find out. I got something for you. That type of stuff. That's the president. It says, did he really say that, or is it just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know immediately. Like he's ready to do something about it. So he's throwing out big threats, man. He's trolling at all-time high. Look at this. Beijing and Moscow double down. So much for that. Double down. Beijing, Moscow, China, and Russia are doubling down on propping up Tehran, threatening to give it nukes. You understand? Now look at this. As anyone who understands how things unfold and have foreseen, the president over the weekend shifted the goalpost from knocking out Iranian nuclear facilities to explicitly calling for regime change. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? My God. I mean, good Lord. That's one thing he said he wasn't going to do. He said, I'm not for regime change. I just want the war to end, and I want them just not to have this uranium. Now he's switching his tone up, saying, I'm for regime change. And you know how that works. They throw in the little sock puppet, man. Does America's bidding, just like you see what's going on in Syria right now. After they topple Syria, they throw in the little ISIS leader. He's raining hell all over that place right now. All upside down. Look what happened in Libya. Libya's all jacked up now, too. Look at Iraq. Over with. So he's following the blueprint, but he lied. Got caught. Beijing and Moscow, they doubled down, said, oh, yeah? Well, we let you know immediately. Yeah, we're going to do it. Now, is he done trolling, or is he going to do something about it? We're going to see. Fears over Iran's missing 400 kilograms of uranium. Satellite images show a line of trucks at Fordo before the strikes, with analysts suggesting materials were frantically moved. Right? So there was footage. They seen the trucks taking the uranium up out of there. They don't know where it's at. But meanwhile, they're running around telling everybody, oh, yeah, everything's obliterated. They got nothing going on over there. Don't worry, yo. Okay. Okay, that's why the scripture say about beauty is vain, and all the favor that is looking like he's got right now. Oh no, he's gonna be in for a surprise. Russia begins serial production of arsenic long-range ballistic missiles. What makes it a game changer? So this is what I'm saying. While the ceasefire is in the mix, while they got a vice grip on Ukraine right now, they're building up more weapons. They're building up more missiles. This is not peacetime. They're getting ready, and they said that America's doing the same thing too. Let me get that. Let me make sure. First thing that pops up, man, AI. I got to give them. As I talk about this crap, but they give you the sources. The War Zone, Northrop Grumman, which is one of their governmental contracts that make some of the materials and for the missiles. This is a governmental website, Northrop Grumman. The U.S. is currently ramping up missile production to address shortages, particularly in response to ongoing conflicts and military needs. Military needs. New facilities and increased funding are being directed toward producing advanced missiles with plans to enhance output significantly in the coming years. What are they rushing for? I thought we've got a peacetime president. Thought he wasn't about war. No. When that budget got laid out, he made sure billions of dollars went towards getting prepared for war, including that golden dome of his. Right? So Russia's ramping up to make more missiles. So is the U.S. This is what that ceasefire is about. So they can wrap up and get prepared. Give them some more time. They ain't ready to go full blown head up with Iran because they know what's coming after that is China and Russia and Pakistan and the rest of the hordes. So Russia's getting their missiles together. Let's continue. U.S. intelligence concludes Pakistan is developing a nuke that could reach America. That's a report coming out. So why is everybody aiming towards America? You know why. All praise it. U.S. intelligence is concluding that Pakistan's got a nuke they're developing a nuke that could reach America. North Korea's been working on it. They trying to get their thing together. Russia's already got it. Pakistan's trying to get it together. Right. Iran's getting ready to get that uranium put to work. So the hot seat is definitely blazing right now. Trump gets a big win on NATO, but key questions over the alliance remain. So that's why I said after that ceasefire, once he got that straightened out, he flew over there to the NATO summit. He hasn't had the best relationship with NATO, right? He went over there and he basically shook them down and said, look, America's not going to keep funding your defense spending at the highest rate. We're spending all the money to help y'all get your defenses up. Y'all going to have to kick in a little bit more. Increase your defense spending or I'm bailing out. Went over there, shook them down, and they bowed down somewhat, because this is like over a 10-year span. And, they got time to cook the books, man, to fake it. They'll figure, man, you're going to be gone in a few years anyway. So, we'll agree now, smile on your face, laugh behind your back afterwards. And they're going to get back to business because NATO ain't rolling with America. NATO and America is not getting the best of the relationship, right? Revelation 17:12 says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as of yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So notice what they're going to have to do is play nice. let's look at this real quick. NATO, these are the 10 horns. Let's see. Try to get a quick second. What the original 10? Mind you, y'all, I'm only doing this for time's sake. They give you the, like I said, I talk about AI, but for time's sake, because I don't have to, I've shown all this before, but I'm just giving quick references. They got Wikipedia, they also got Encyclopedia Britannica. The first 10 nations in NATO established in 1949, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, Norway, and Portugal. These were the original 10 horns. It has expanded since then. I think NATO's up to 32 now. But when John was seeing it, he's seen the first 10. It says, and they have no kingdom as of yet. None of these were dominant kingdoms on the earth, with the exception of France. That's really about it. France is one of the seven crowns or seven kings that is spoken of in Revelation 12 as well, right? But really, none of them have a kingdom as of yet, but they all have a certain dispensation of time allotted of power with the beast. America is that beast system, the last beast kingdom on the earth. And it helps funnel and give power to the 10. That's why it's saying, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So this is why you see all of them bowing down. It says the United Kingdom and the United States were also founding members, making a total of 12 original members. The real original, because it came out of the EU, was stemming from this. The UK and America got involved after the UK was basically broke after World War II. America had all the cars, they had all the money. They got in by default because America had the money. But these were the original. Originally it was 10. The UK and the US came in after the fact, right? Now it's up to 32, I believe. But what's going to end up happening? Now remember, it says they receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So they're going to get their power from the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So they're going to pledge allegiance, just like they did just now. NATO leaders convening Wednesday in the Netherlands delivered President Donald Trump a major win by boosting their defense spending targets. But comments he made while flying to the conference were raising fresh concerns about his commitment to the alliance's core principle of collective defense. The split dynamic where leaders tailored their gathering to appeal to Trump, even as he questioned the core provision of membership made for a charged atmosphere as the conference was getting underway at the Hague. Trump vowed to stand alongside fellow NATO nations a day after hedging in his support for the alliance's Article 5 pact, which says an attack against one member is an attack against all. We're with them all the way, Trump said. If you take a look at the numbers, we're with them. He called a pledge to be agreed to Wednesday by NATO countries to increase their defense spending. Very big news. NATO is going to become very strong with us. You follow? They receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So Trump is saying they will not have any power unless it's through us. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So in turn, they're going to give their power over to the beast. Verse 16 is the key though. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. They will eventually turn on him because initially he was talking crazy. He don't really have no good relationship with them. NATO's out, they're all playing theater too. They talking about thank you, Daddy, Mr. Trump, and without him, we managed to increase our spending, and we're all going to be on board. And thank you, Trump, you're the leader that we all need. I was going to say something explicit, but they was getting their mouth, putting their mouth to work. How about that? That's what they out here doing, right? But we see what's going to happen. They're out here saying, hey, they're going to get their power through the beast. He just got them acknowledging they all bow down to him, supposedly. But again, some of this is theater because they know. I think it's like I said, it's like a 10-year pact. Over the 10 years, they're supposed to, increase their spending slowly but surely and, ease off of America's dependency on the money. And, in their minds, you're going to be gone in 3 years. We ain't tripping about that. We still don't like you. We don't like America. We don't like your policies. We don't like how you stepping on our necks. And we're going to collectively come up against you, man. Some of us is going to rise up against you. Look at Obadiah, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in them. They're eating the bread that's given to them. They're taking the money. They're taking the weapons. The diplomacy, the democracy. They're letting the base, the U.S. bases on their country. They're doing it all. The tariffs, the exchanges, the imports, export. Yeah, they're living off of the whole. Living off of this whole. But look, they're going to create a wound. It's like a Trojan horse, man. From the inside out, they're going to turn on America. And who are they talking about? Edom, so-called white man, and his kingdom, his ruling kingdom, main one, America. Because they're the ones who's at peace. All these other nations, NATO, the EU, they're all at peace with them. You would think, oh, everything's great. Notice here, that's why the headline says key questions over their alliance remain. Yeah, because if you keep reading the article, man, it lets you know they not really trusting what's going on with him. But they're smiling in their face. Yeah, okay, thank you, boss. All right, mother effer. I'm sick of him. Don't worry, he got 3 more years. Yeah, can we get something cracking before that? Maybe we can bait him into war with Russia. Maybe we can get this thing going sooner or later, and then we can eventually turn on him. That's what they're planning on because they were telling him, hey, public enemy number 1 is Russia, man. Forget Iran. Russia's getting ready to attack Germany. Russia's getting ready to attack the UK. We need this right away. And Trump is over there saying, yeah, don't worry, I got it under control. But I need y'all to sign this bill because I ain't giving you no more money. So there we go. Zelensky. Assassination plot foiled, what we know. So there was assassination plot on him, just like he'd been trying to hit Putin. They're still playing spy games over there. He got to make sure he's still in the headlines too. A lot of people, we done forgot about him because Iran and Israel have been taking the hot seat now. Somebody almost took him out. Whoops, too bad they missed, but let's move on. Look at this. Iranian military, hair on fire, boy. Iranian media shares photo of Trump on fire and chilling warning after the strikes. Like, this is very interesting because why is everybody always talking about fire on America, fire on Trump? That's biblical, and y'all know it. Destruction is coming via fire to this place. But the Bible calls this place modern day Babylon, Sodom, and Egypt. That's how you got to decode it, right? A chilling image of Donald Trump's head in flames has been shared by Iranian media following missile strikes at a U.S. airbase today as tensions continue to ratchet up. Iran launched a limited missile attack Monday on the military base in Qatar. Right, we already know about all that. It said the U.S. was warned by Iran in advance. Hello? More theater. They warned Iran. The U.S. was warned by Iran. Told them, heads up. We're gonna throw a little something. We're gonna throw a little ball over the fence. Need y'all to catch that. They told Qatar, hey, we're gonna coordinate this thing, but don't worry, nobody's gonna get hurt. But we can't go out like no punks, on the grand stage, man. We gotta look like we did something back. We know y'all. We let y'all do something. We gotta do something back now. The U.S. was warned by Iran in advance, and there were no casualties, said Trump, who dismissed the attack as a, quote, very weak response. Yeah, but it was coordinated, man. You knew ahead of time it was going to be like that. And then what do? You jump on the internet and say, that was weak. You know it was going to be weak from the beginning. Yeah, that's how you coordinated it. But don't worry. The hair on fire is only symbolic for the destruction of America. Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall our plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord, our power, who judgeth her. That's Babylon. Great. This was going to happen to this place. In one day, death and mourning and famine. In a short span of time. Scriptures even say in 1 hour. They say it's only going to take 72 minutes for the nuclear destruction of America from a couple of nukes hitting over here from, let's say, Russia. You know, it's a long distance, but you could literally walk from Russia to Alaska. That's how close. Right. But it says coming through fire. Via fire. Let me read 19. Revelation 19, let's read one. It says, and after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah. Salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgments. For he hath judged the great whore, that's America, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. And again they said, Hallelujah. And her smoke rose up forever and ever. So this place will be on fire. And the smoking of its burning is going to be seen forever. This is why you see these type of memes and pictures, but this is just symbolic of the future. Struck match with his hair. That's a cold picture right there, but it's indicative of what the end all be all is going to be for this place. Brits must actively prepare for war on UK soil. Chilling government strategy warns. So they continually are telling the Brits, get ready. Germany's getting ready. All these other nations getting ready. And they keep telling everybody it's coming from Russia. NATO's pushing that hard. They're saying Russia's going to get us. Russia's going to get us. We need help. America, Russia's going to get us. Which is only going to set the stage for somebody to actually drop a false flag, blame it on Russia. Just like, you know, they got the sleeper cells scenario lined up over here. I think they just arrested 100 plus Iranians. You know, ironically, they took the ironically, and just by happenstance, they decided to take the spotlight off of our 10 tribe brothers, Northern Kingdom, right? To selectively pop out now, all of a sudden you got 100 Iranians. I mean, this is wild stuff, man. You can't make this stuff up, man. You couldn't find a story that wanted to talk about anything but the Northern Kingdom getting shook down, chased down, tracked down, accosted and kidnapped by ICE, by men wearing masks in unmarked cars with no ID, jumping out vans and trucks, snatching up pregnant women, snatching up kids, mothers from graduations, men off of their jobs. You couldn't find no other nation that was getting harassed more than our people. After these bombings, all of a sudden now, ICE got found 100 plus Iranian nationals amid sleeper cell concerns. Now, all of a sudden, they found 100 plus illegals, Iranians, ironically. I mean, are y'all buying this? Am I tripping or what? You didn't hear about them shaking down nobody. They weren't talking about no Iranians. They weren't talking about no damn Arabs. They weren't talking about Chinese. They weren't talking about no Africans. Everything was Northern Kingdom. Now, all of a sudden, because they start promoting, oh, sleeper cells is here. Iran's going to get the sleeper cells activated. Next thing, here comes the headline. Oh, we just arrested 100 plus of them. Don't worry, we got you covered. Come on, man. Look at it. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested 130 Iranian nationals throughout the United States in the last week. And 670 Iranian nationals are in ICE detention as the Trump administration continues to increase arrests of Iranian nationals in the country illegally amid security concerns. Now, all of a sudden, the focus is on Iranians, man. Maybe the Northern Kingdom now can, flee and do what they need to do. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Anyway, the UK, they're saying they got to prepare for war. I mean, they're already talking about conscription over there in Germany, talking about bringing the draft back. And in other countries in Europe, they want to bring back the draft. I mean, it's all going down, man. Now, speaking about deportation. Supreme Court eases rapid deportation to countries where immigrants have no ties. I mean, this place knows no bounds, man. At first, look, Supreme Court on Monday cleared the way for the Trump administration to swiftly deport foreigners to countries where they have no previous ties. Can you imagine? Your homeland is in, let's say, El Salvador. You get gaffled up, man, and they send you to the Sudan. When they say, here, hold them over here. And you're like, I have no relatives, no nothing. I don't speak the language. How are you just going to drop me off over here? America has no, this is wild. They saying dropping them off wherever. I think they said they were dropping in Sudan, I think Libya. I mean, completely whole other continents dropping them off. So not only are they making false arrests on some people, he's even building a new, you know what? Hold on. I forgot this one. Hold on, y'all. Shalakia. He's even building another prison called Alligator Alcatraz. Did y'all hear about that? Alligator Alcatraz. Where's that at?
Tonight, construction is underway deep in the Florida Everglades on a massive migrant detention camp that state officials are calling.
Let me share this right. He's opening up Alcatraz literally over there in the bay. Now he's deporting people to countries that they have no connections to. Now he's got Alligator Alcatraz they're building up over there. They said if you're trying to escape, the only thing that's there is water moccasins and alligators.
Construction is underway deep in the Florida Everglades on a massive migrant detention camp that state officials are calling Alligator Alcatraz. Starting next month, 5,000 migrants will be housed in trailers and heavy-duty tents at this remote abandoned airfield.
As I call it, Alligator Alcatraz.
In a promotional video set to music, Florida's Attorney General lays out what he considers a deterrent for any potential escapees.
People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons.
But some local officials warn the environmental impact could be devastating.
We have environmental and physical stewardship and safety concerns.
The Trump administration has said it wants to get up to 100,000 beds at detention centers across the country to facilitate mass deportations.
100,000 beds across the country. They're getting ready to get this thing up in the next few months to house 5,000 migrants, throwing them in the Florida Everglades. And if you see anything going on in them swamps and them Everglades, it's no joke. It's no wonder how the Seminoles and other tribes and the so-called blacks was able to survive there. Average Negro in the cities like myself and it wouldn't survive a day from all of the environmental things going on. Swamp water, water moccasins, mosquitoes, crocodiles, I mean, you name alligators. Lack of food resources, everything's going to be defiled over there. I mean, come on. Our people really knew how to survive and thrive in the worst of conditions. And now here they go, getting ready to send them back over there. Prison camps.
A lot of bad people were let into our country. We're getting them out, and we're getting them out fast.
The Department of
Bad people, right? What did he just say about the farmers? Remember that? Oh, there's some good people here working, and we got to do something. We can't just let them go by. Some of them been here 20 years, and they might have what they need, but we got to do something. It's not fair to them. Remember that? Now everybody's bad. What happened to that narrative?
Homeland Security says the new facility will cost about $450 million a year and will be reimbursed in large part by a FEMA program previously used to shelter migrants in places like this hotel in New York City. Do you think that
I thought FEMA was broke?
This is a good idea for your home state?
Well, I 100% support the president's deportation efforts. It's the president's priority to get those individuals out of our country.
But immigrant advocates argue the money has not been set aside by Congress. And
the biggest concern is the grave inhumanity that seems to be at stake in terms of sending people to incredibly inhumane, brutal conditions.
An administration official tells NBC News that ICE currently has nearly 60,000 detainees in custody, a record.
I mean, y'all already hear about it. Y'all already seen it. But look, not only is he doing alligator Alcatraz, a literal, original Alcatraz, building up more camps for more people, and he's deporting people to countries they got no ties in. I mean, you talk about ruthless. Let alone, that some of these camps is going to be lined up for the future. You talking about detention centers. You talking about FEMA camps. Notice it said it's going to be funded by FEMA. Remember those? Everybody, conspiracy, FEMA camps. What? No way. What? Now you're hearing about who's funding them. FEMA's going to be the one providing the money for these camps. And it's going to start with the quote unquote migrants. Then it's going to come with the political dissidents. Then it's going to come with those committing quote unquote sedition. I mean, you could already hear him saying, I'm going to sue the press if they don't agree with what I'm saying. Wait until I'm going to arrest, I'm going to detain, I'm going to torture you if you don't bow down to the image of the beast, if you don't follow after that. You follow? Like, these are the things that he's already lining up for. And if it ain't done within his 4 years, his successor is probably going to take the reins and go even further. Slow Biden did his job. He implemented and had all kind of things twisted up. He utilized and had the virus out there, changing up all kind of laws, got everybody inoculated, and now it's a whole nother thing. Collapsed the economy, destroyed everything. Now he's coming in, carrying on in tradition, destroying the economy. Now he's setting up the camps. He's investing in the AI. He's empowering the beast system. It's all lining up. It's all lining up, man. Supreme Court delivers bombshell ruling on Trump's plan to end birthright citizenship. Remember, beforehand, the Supreme Court was standing up against him, saying, nah. Okay, so what? Two people got here illegally. They had a baby. The baby's legal now. They're American citizens. They got citizenship through their birthright. Trump's like, heck no, they got in here illegally. They can't be included in that. Get rid of them. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. Supreme Court was standing against it. Now, all of a sudden, they're doing a U-turn. Supreme Court on Friday ruled that individual judges lack the power to issue nationwide injunctions as it delivered a historic ruling in a case about the right to birthright citizenship. It was a landmark decision that was seen as a major victory for President Donald Trump in his ongoing battle with the judiciary. Trump has complained about individual judges in any state being able to issue orders against his policies that apply across the country. Now, if he gets this overruled and the Supreme Court is already backing him, saying individual judges in these states can't rebel, add on to the list not only the quote unquote illegal parents, but now their kids. If the parents are here illegally, if they have children, Doesn't matter if they're under the DACA rule, you know, they went to school, they got the degree. If your parents are illegal, you now are in threat of being deported as well. No matter how long you've been here. Doesn't matter. You say I was born in East LA, I've been here all my whole life. I'm the second generation that they're gonna say, "Was your parents here legally?" No. Okay, you're out of here too. Make America white again. Imagine that. Wild. ICE detains a Marine Corps veteran's wife who was still breastfeeding their baby. Does it sound familiar? Oh, it doesn't? Oh, hold on. Let me see. I think it's in Second Ezra's. No. Second Maccabees. Oops. A Marine, be all you can be. Pledged his life to Uncle Sam to serve the beast, and his wife, pregnant, gets detained and snatched up. Look at this. Second Ezra's. I want to see Ezra's. Maccabees, Salakia. Look at this. We'll start at verse 8. We'll read down. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews that they should observe the same fashion to be partakers of their sacrifices. Christians, hello. This is where you get Hellenism from. This is why the Jews were following after the same fashions and being partakers of the sacrifices and following after the ways of the heathen because of decrees, because of pressure, because our people didn't want to get persecuted and die. So they said, well, we're just going to assimilate. We're going to acquiesce and be part of the Greeks. Continuing on, it says, whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Notice it says, to what manner? The manners of the Gentiles. How and why do we identify with the Gentiles in the New Testament as such? Is because why? They followed after the manners and the ways of the Gentiles, i.e. Hellenism. This is why we identify them as the Gentiles of the New Testament, along with various other scriptures and historical prophecy and primary first-hand accounts through historians. Whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. Check this one out. For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes handing at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. Did you hear that? This is how they were treating our people, man. And our people got the nerve to sit back and say, hey, that was in the past. Forget about it. Can we even count that? Is that true? You know, we don't know. That's been tampered with. There's no where that you can find that this did not happen historically. Women that were breastfeeding their children because they were circumcised, they grabbed them out of the woman's hands, snatched them away from their breast, and slammed them head first into the wall. Little black babies, head first into the wall. Brown baby, head first into the wall. Mothers had to witness that. Now look what they're doing. Marine Corps' wife, who was still breastfeeding their baby, she gets snatched up. Now, I believe the husband is an Edomite, who is the Marine. The mother, his wife, is a so-called Mexican woman, right? Paula Clout, I don't know how to say her last name, Kotari, or whatever, a 25-year-old Mexican national whose mother brought her into the country seeking asylum more than a decade ago, met Adrian Clartree, 26, at the Southern California nightclub during the final months of his 5 years of the military service in 2022. Within a year, they had tattooed each other's names on their arms, strike 2 with her. Oops, lucky. Where are we at? Right here. Okay, after they married, 2024, Paola sought a green card to legally live and work in the U.S. Adrian said he is not a very political person, but believes his wife deserves to live legally in the U.S. I'm all for get the criminals out of the country, right? He said, but the people that are here working hard, especially the ones married to Americans, I mean, that's always been a way to secure a green card. Think ICE gives a damn about that, man? Adrian, you found your little 10 tribe, you found your little Mexican woman, man. And look, your country, this place, the one that you went out and served, done stabbed you in the back too now, right? But he just made a point. He said, if I thought it was supposed to be about the criminals, right? Not wrong. The hard workers is getting snatched up too. People that she's been here 10 years. 15 years ago, she came in at 15. Seeking asylum, got married, supposed to be trying to get her green card to get legal. They said no. Oh, you got a baby too? Oh, birthright citizenship. We're gonna snatch that baby up too. That's where we headed, man. This place is gonna go wild. Just wait for a couple. Somebody be one of these detainees, man, become a martyr, man. One of these so-called migrants, man, become a martyr. Somebody get put to death, choked out, killed on their watch. Something go. This place is gonna get lit up. Let's continue. RFK Jr.'s bonkers plan to fit every American with a tracking device as he hunts for causes of cancer and autism. Now, before you jump up and say, mark of the beast, here we go. Slow down. Slow down. As I've always proposed, there is a technical aspect, a technology base for this system and this marketing. But it ain't gonna be no dang chip. They ain't gonna have to insert it. They're operating in much more covert and devilish means. And Bill Gates has a patent on a particular interface and technology that deals with devices that work as a tracking and a reward system. I brought this out in times past regarding this technology. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. I want to find that. Let me see. Just to show something real quick. Because it is going to be technology based. Yeah. Okay, check this out. There is an element to it, but it's also a system of coercion that's going to make one compromise the laws and the commandments of the Most High to ultimately serve the beast and its system. Where's it at? Okay, check this out. Now, cryptocurrency system using body activity. This is Bill Gates' patent. Many people have pointed out that there's 3 6s within this patent number. Now, this is how it becomes digitized. This is where the crypto, the digitized versions of money, digital currency comes into play. Paper money is going to be a thing of the past. Here's part of the patent. It says specifically, the application is for a system whereby tasks are given to users which on participation or completion can be rewarded with cryptocurrency. So when they get to the digitized system, your ability to buy and sell is going to be based upon your rewards. This is why all the jobs are being phased out. AI is taking over, layoffs here, company crashing over there. Everything is going to be performance-based. This is how you're going to be able to buy and sell through this technology, because guess what? If you're not performing, your rewards are not going to come. Now, it says information is collected from a sensor coupled with or potentially within the user's device not in their body, in the device. People is already continuing. I mean, people are already addicted to device, tablet, phone, computer, tech. I mean, TV, you name it. Smart homes, smart appliances. It's already lined up. Nobody's expecting this system to interface and turn on you because we're so dependent on it. We love it so much, we can't live without it. They're not going to have to force you to do anything. People are going to adapt, and when things get changed and laws get changed and things of quote unquote emergencies arise, when they say this is the only way society's going to continue. Oh, the bank, we had a big major fallout. There's a grid down, the banks all closed up, blah, blah, blah. You lost all your wealth. Don't worry. We'll be able to get it back to you, but it's through this system right here. And we'll reimburse you with this. However, we got to do it incrementally because everybody needs it. You're going to need to be rewarded for your performances. Information is collected, Hunger Games type stuff. Information is collected from a sensor coupled with or potentially within the user's device to determine whether those tasks have been completed. Now look, the patent application describes that the user device as potentially being, quote, personal computers, servers, cell phones, tablets, laptops, smart devices, for example, smart watches or smart televisions. This is where the application is coming through. All these devices, which everybody has, everybody's going to use them, but they're going to be manipulated and backdoored and used as weapons against us. And those who say, well, I'm going to go dark, I'm going back to the dark ages, I'm not going to rely on none of this stuff, I'm separating myself from the beast. Isaiah 52, I believe, says, come up out of her and deliver your soul. Like, we have to completely divest away from this thing. And if they do have I've been anti-vaccine for over damn near 25 years. So I'm not promoting no poke either way. To keep it real, we lost channels in the whole nine. We'll be constantly riding against the DVAC 91 and the death and destruction and the coercion that was coming along with that and the lies that was coming along with that. So that's not going down either. But the real deal is how the devil will utilize. Remember, the scriptures say that Satan gave power unto the beast. So this beast is operating through an adverse, deceitful spirit. And if everybody knows what it is, he didn't do his job then. But if everybody gets deceived and thinking that these are all great events, smartphones, only making us more dumb. To be real, tablets, phone, this is where it's coming through. It may also be a piece of wearable tech. Your smart watches, they even got smart tattoos. All I've shown all these things. I guess I might have to do another thing about this stuff. But so the sensor is described as either a device in itself or built into the user device. All right. Now, why'd I go through that whole diatribe about this? Because now you're hearing JFK Jr. What's he doing? His bonkers plan to fit every American with a tracking device as he hunts for causes of cancer and autism. Well, let's see. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to fit all Americans with a tracking device within the next 4 years. So he's got 4 years to accomplish this. As he's the health secretary, he's supposed to be looking out for everybody, right? So he's pushing this agenda, and we know that this system, this beast system, is going to originate and pour from America. That's why it says all Americans, because that's what Revelation tells us, that the beast system, if America's the beast in Revelation 13, who was powered by Satan. This is where it's going to stem from. The Health and Human Services Secretary revealed his plans during a House hearing yesterday, saying that devices, what we just read about, like Apple Watch, Fitbit, Whoop, and Oura Ring were, quote, key to the MAHA agenda. Make America healthy again. MAHA. He said the technology could help people lose weight and exercise more regularly. Oh, it's always for your own good, right? But you know there's back doors for everything. As well as take control of their health and encourage good judgments about their diets, about their physical activity, about the way they live their lives. Oh, yeah, because guess what? When your smart device is saying your food rations, what you can and can't eat. Oh, you've already had your beef for the week. Oh, you can't get no chicken this time. Oh, no, you can't have this, that, and the third. You can't afford it. Your credits, your crypto won't pay for it. As they control and mold what you're gonna eat. Oh, your credit is only good for the GMO Franken foods. Oh, the poop burgers. Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, well, guess what? We'll shut you off. In an effort to get a smartwatch, ring, or monitor on every American, RFK Jr. said he's planning to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in history to encourage more people to wear the devices. You may say, hey, that's the beginning stages, man. Wait till they get the chips. Okay, maybe so. But I stand on it's already here. They're just waiting to see right now. They have to encourage. I gotta seduce you. I gotta seduce you. Remember in the movie Sinners? For those who've seen it, and the vampires couldn't come in unless you invited them. Hey, let me in. It's me, your good old friendly neighborhood devil. I'm a good guy. I want to look out for your health. I want to make sure your diet is right. I wanted you to lose weight and exercise more regularly. Let me in. You know, there's another TV show called it's not them. It's called hey, I can't remember the name of it. But it's basically like some Twilight Zone type thing, man. People go in this time warp. It's like they're on a bus trip and they go through this one city or this one little town, and they end up getting stuck there. But everybody that drives through this city or drives through this town end up getting stuck there, and there's no way to get out. But they end up finding out that there you go, UZL, from. That's it, from. Finds out, man, it's all kind of damn demons and come out at night and they smile in your face, they act all nice, man. True devils. And they say you got to let them in. They smile at the window and all that. They make you feel all seductive and they want you to open up the door. You open up the door, man, you dead as a doornail. But you gotta let them in. And that's why JFK saying, hey, I just want to encourage you to get one of these devices, man, because I love you. I want your diet to be right. I want your physical activity to be up. It's for the good. It's for the good. It's for your own good, man. $99 to $800. Don't worry. We can finance you, buy now, pay later. We got it all figured out. They said they're exploring how the government would pay for the devices for some Americans. Yeah, just like the Obama phones and everything else. How else are they going to make sure that everybody got something on them? They on Wi-Fi downtown and Skid Row. Everybody got cell phones. They got cell phones, and from Starlink all the way into Amazon, everybody's connected in this web. So technology is definitely going to be a part of the B system. RFK Jr. is introducing the way to the way to hell. You know, look at this. RoboSting. China unveils tiny, terrifying mosquito-sized drone to be used for spying and, quote, special missions as they sneak into your homes. This is how crafty these damn demons are, man. These damn heathens. Spy drones the size of mosquitoes. I mean, and even if listen, they could poke you with something through these mosquitoes. You know they're putting vaccines in the foods now. They ain't got to force you to do nothing. They can give it to you, and you don't even know. That's why they have to be more seductive. You gotta be more seductive. From yeah, that show right there. From between from and centers, man. You know, that's where the black folks, man, they lock your damn doors, man. Don't open the damn doors for the damn heathen. And for the 2/3 out there saying, hey, let us in, we repent, keep the door closed. All right, they've been bit, they're infected. Look, this is what's going on in the world, man. I mean, how are you going to battle this stuff, man? We need a higher power. We need the supreme being and the holy host to come down here and save us, man. I mean, look at it. China has unveiled a horrifying mosquito-sized drone to be used for covert missions and spying. The spindly device looks scarily akin to the blood-sucking insect, making it a valuable tool for secret information gathering. In a video published by state media over the weekend, scientists are seen holding up the mosquito-like robot, which they say will perform a range of military and civilian activities. But experts warn the drone's miniature size will mean it can easily and covertly access private indoor areas and listen in on people's conversations. And you know, America's sitting back licking their lips saying, good work, Moab. We'll take 1 million of them. And you know they already got them, man. I mean, Bill Gates already been doing the damn GMO mosquitoes and everything else. Yeah, Naquab, you know it's already been used, man. They got swarms of these things already. They're just now telling you. Anytime they tell you what they have, we need to be worried about they haven't told us yet. If they finally come and clean it, they've been having probably this for like the last 10, 15 years. Been using. Now it's like, okay, we can tell them now. Because what we got behind door number 3 is really going to blow their minds. That's what they need to be worried about. Anytime they tell you what they got, is what they haven't told us. That's really where it's at. Trump admin is issuing an emergency orders. Power grids are straining under summer heat. So, you know, buckle down, get prepared. Heat waves all across the country. I don't want to talk it up, but we've been having good weather out here. But I'm sure the heat's going to hit us eventually. You know, our summers really get heated up around early, mid-July. And then it lasts all the way up until like damn near October or so. But right now, we're pretty good. But don't be surprised if there's some power outages, some rolling blackouts. Everybody's trying to stay cool. Y'all be safe out there. Make sure that, like I talked about on Sunday, you got some things in order in the event that electricity gets cut. You got something that can back it up. Especially if you're out there at AZ, where it's 117 down every day. That damn air conditioning go out. You might want to have a little solar power generator, man, that you can plug up a couple fans to, at least to keep some sort of air flowing. But yeah, think about that. They're already talking about emergency orders going down because they see the power of the grid is under strain already. Nearly 2 million student loan borrowers are at risk of dock pay this summer. I mean, they said it is actually going up to 6 million people are getting ready to have their wages garnished, let alone you already got people looking for jobs that's been laid off. Now you got people that do have a job and you got to pay them loans back. They're coming for the payments, garnishing wages. People already living check to check. That's going to really drive these people. Anybody in debt for student loans, man, it's going to really be tough now. But they're finna take your money off the rip. So think it's hard now. Just wait in the next few weeks. Nearly 2 million student loan borrowers are at risk of having their wages garnished this summer. Roughly 6 million federal student loan borrowers are 90 days or more past due after the pandemic era reprieve ended, according to TransUnion. The credit report system estimates that about a third of them, or nearly 2 million borrowers, could move into default in July and start having their pay docked by the government. That's up from 1.2 million that TransUnion had estimated in early May. So they lowball. They thought 1.2 million they was going to have to do it. They have to 2 million now. And they said 6 million is 90 days past due. So it's only a matter of time before the other 6 million are going to have their wages garnished as well, if they're even working. 90 days behind, they're probably not working. Went to school all that time, racked up all that money in loans, got a degree, and it ain't working. That's some cold stuff, man. The dream that America sends, man, is turning into a nightmare for many people. Rite Aid, brother Shar hit me today, said, man, Rite Aid's closing. I'm like, what? I know they was closing some, but all of them? All of them. Which only gives more problems for, people that are in need of going to the local pharmacy. Yeah, you used to be able to, now you got to go to a whole nother one. Who knows if it's in your same city? Could be, depending on where you're at. You might have to travel to go get it. I remember I did a store a couple of years ago that was closing. I believe it was Rite Aid or CVS, one or two, like in Boston. There was some old sisters that was like, damn, I already had to take the bus to my local pharmacy to get my prescription. Now I got to drive. I mean, I got to take the bus a whole nother, far distance to get what you need. And it's going to be inconveniencing and tough on some people, but it also shows you the state of America. And, even just Jeremiah said, man, Babylon's going to hope for healing bomb, and it's not going to heal them. Roughly paraphrasing that, because even the pharmaceutical companies are shutting down. They're transferring them to Walgreens, CVS, and Albertsons, the pharmacy departments, or the pharmacies that they have for CVS. But for those who are familiar with, for Rite Aid used to be Thrifties. Back in the day, Thrifties used to have that bomb ice cream. And then they translated it to Rite Aid, and the Thrifties ice cream, they just start selling out of the freezer section. You have to buy it, but it still don't taste like it, like it used to back in the days. My Thrifties folks, y'all know what I'm talking about. But Rite Aid, out of here. 1,277 pharmacies nationwide are closing down. They're filing bankruptcy. Several locations in California have been identified for closure, including Costa Mesa, Santa Monica, LA, Rolling Hills Estates, and Long Beach. Oscar Ravioli, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 35-cent cones. Oh my goodness. You was there. You can get a triple scoop for like $1.15 or something like that. Can you imagine? Bomb ice cream at that, man. 35-cent cones. I remember that. He took me back to my childhood. Wow. But they're out of here, man. Rite Aid. But look at this. Union is pushing to extend a $30 minimum wage to all Los Angeles employees. This is a complete joke. First of all, it's a pipe dream. It ain't happening. But look, it says industry groups warn that a $30 wage rate already approved for hotel employees threatens to trigger an economic tsunami. Economic tsunami. That means that California is on its way out the door. If minimum wage is $30 an hour, what does that mean the cost of living is in California? $30 an hour is not going to, listen, this thing is over. They're saying, well, we got to raise them to $30 to make a living wage out here. If it gets to that point, ain't nobody going to be surviving out here. If your minimum wage is $30 an hour. So this is a pipe dream, man. You got people working the minimum wage right now. I think they're making $20 an hour at maybe McDonald's or the fast food places, retail, for most places. But all of them is working part time, or scattered hours here or there, no benefits. So they know how to balance things out. They'll flood it with workers working part-time. And still that part-time means they got about 2 other jobs and a side hustle just to survive. The same thing will apply if you can make it $50, it doesn't matter. It's all inflationary paper money that means that the value of the dollar is completely going to get lost in the sauce. The cost of living is going to be exorbitant to where you're saying $30 minimum wage out here. Please. That's right. Economic tsunami is really what's going to happen. But that's the things that they're tossing out there, man. Only giving us a heads up on the eventual collapse of this place, Chocolate malted crunch. Yeah, I used to like that. I used to like brownie. What was it? Brownie walnut. Like butter pecan. You know, look at me, man. Yeah, y'all got me reminiscing like a reminiscing like a bug. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Pecan praline. That was my thing too. Good stuff, man. All praise to the Most High, White House, man. Hopefully, everybody got some edification tonight. A lot of things on the table, man. Watch the show, man, because they for sure are putting on a wild theatrical performance in politics right now. Don't be deceived. You know, remember, man, Psalms 107 tells us if we cry loud enough, man, the Most High is going to hear us. We got to continue crying to the Most High, man. We got to get this thing right if we want to see the beginning of the end and we want to get up out this place, man. All right. So with that being said, man, Lord willing, see y'all tomorrow, Most High permit, for closing Sabbath class, man. I'll be teaching again tomorrow. So tune in and we're going to get to it. All right. So y'all be well, man. Have a blessed evening and a blessed Shabbat if you're catching this on the daytime. You didn't stay up with me. It's all good. Catch it in the morning, right? And then double back and catch us in the afternoon. All right. With that being said, I'm going to say shalom, peace, good evening. Y'all be well. Take care. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. I'm out of here.